What's up everyone, Akukami here and welcome to StarCraft Monday. Now, I realize that I haven't been posting a lot of content and that's because I really don't have a set schedule of when I'm going to actually be posting things, so hopefully I will get some kind of schedule straightened out. I do have something prepared for Mondays and Tuesdays, but for the rest of the 3 days that I do allot myself time to make videos for you guys, I don't have anything prepared, so I do know that I want to start casting more of my games, and I figured that at least have one StarCraft game on Monday. So this is basically my one StarCraft game of the week. So, anyways, let's get into the game here. We have my opponent LibTech spawning here in the 10 o'clock position as the blue Zerg player. Meanwhile, I'm over here spawning in the 2 o'clock position or 1 o'clock position as the red Terran player. Now, let's just speed things up a little bit. The reason why I'm just posting at least one StarCraft video a week is because that was the crux of my videos. I mean, every single day I tried to post at least one video of me playing StarCraft 2, and it took a really long time for me just to edit here and get things straightened out as I didn't know really what I was doing. But now that I have some kind of set schedule and I'm expanding my content, I do hope to come out with some more great videos for you guys with some really good content. Well, anyways, let's just slow things down a little bit here. As you can see, I did go command center first. I did go 14 command center followed by 16 racks, and I know that's not the way it goes, but I'm not a great player here, so just excuse me. Building my supply depot here just to check for any kind of Mutalisk play or the rare Overlord Ventral Sack play. And I actually saw that I've seen that at least once every week, so I'm wary of that now. Now, as soon as my racks finishes, I'll be able to upgrade both my command centers into orbitals. Meanwhile, my opponent is actually just going spawning pool right now. I do believe he went hatch first, and he's throwing down a Warren, Roach Warren. Obviously going to be coming out with roaches, as my opponent did scout me in this direction, and finally found me here with this drone, but he already knew I was there because of this Overlord, and I did see it. So I did have an idea at that point of where my opponent was, and just to make sure, I did send an SCV over because I don't want to make assumptions as I am not a great player. So yeah, just decided to play it safe. Anyways, came out with my 2 refineries as soon as my orbitals, as soon as I started upgrading my orbitals, coming down with both of my racks, feeling pretty safe as I speed things up a little bit. Back at my opponent's base, coming out with his second gas, finally queen here, and more overlords and lings and roaches and all that good stuff. Now, normally I would open with reapers just so I could get a good scout, but I already figured where my opponent was in this location, so I didn't have to really go for reapers, and basically just check what was in his base. Coming in with some Zerglings, and that was a failed attack right here. Coming out with another supply depot here for a wall off, and finishing up my factory as my opponent prepares for a roach bust right here. As my opponent, there he goes, there it is. And let's slow things down a little bit. Decides to bypass my bunker completely. I notice what he's doing. Decide to raise both of my supply depots, and here I come with my all of my Marines and my SCVs, and just basically sandwiching him here. And I don't think he was paying a whole lot of attention to this. Actually, he was, but he was losing his roaches pretty badly right here as they get sandwiched. I'll lose a lot of SCVs, but that's okay because I have my mules are here, and I should actually send these mules back to mining. I do a hot swap here just so I can start medevac production, and I'm pretty behind in this respect because he destroyed a lot of my SCVs, and in the meantime, deciding to put up some defense for himself and start coming out with his upgrades for his army. Meanwhile, back at his base, not much of anything going on, and he could have actually expanded behind that attack, but chose not to, just chose instead to go for these static defense units here, these spine crawlers. And as for me, I decided to close off at least this one avenue of where my opponent actually just came through this way. I figured if he's going to bypass my bunker, he's just gonna have to go this way where my SCVs can intercept, and of course my army's right here. Now, taking a look back at my opponent's base, he is actually going for an infestation pit as well as a spire. Back at my base, not doing a whole lot of anything, throwing down an engineering bay for my getting my attack upgrade right here. Deciding to put down 2 more racks, as I do just double check with my SCV if my opponent is in this location. I will find out that he is, and this SCV will have a very bad day. Speeding through things a little bit, at this point I was thinking of dropping my opponent here in this side, but he saw what was going on obviously with these overlords right here, and actually decides to come out with some spore crawlers, and a spine crawler, which is really smart of him. I could have dropped here in this location, and I keep forgetting that it's a wide open space here on Whirlwind, so forgetting about that for the moment. Killed one overlord that was hanging out here, and of course his spore crawlers right here, his army is right here, and I can't drop, so I decided to head back into my base. Meanwhile, throwing down an armory, going for my 2-2 upgrades, going for my armor and my level 2 weapons upgrades, as my opponent splits his army right here, decides to check if I have a third, which I don't, and as speaking of my third, I'm building it right here. Meanwhile, my opponent does actually expand with his third right here, as he hangs out with his Zerglings here, which are 1-0 upgraded. Decides to actually start harassing my opponent's overlords in order to force him to make Vikings, but as we saw earlier, he had a spire ready, so he actually was planning to go for, just by this alone, for mutas, and actually just harassing more of his overlords. Tried to get that last overlord. Oh, won't be able to do so, but manage to take out at least 1 overlord with this Viking, but this will have a very bad day, as a couple 4 mutalisks meet and greet him, starting to attack my third right now, as I rush all of my units back to this location right here. I am greeted by some 1-1 roaches, as my opponent is deciding not to engage that, deciding it's probably best to run away from my Marines, but deciding to take another shot at my command center just to bring it down to even lower HP. But I am prepared for this, as I do come out with some missile turrets and a lot of racks. Alright, speeding up a little bit more. Meanwhile, my opponent back at his base, he is going for burrow research, and he does have the mutalisks in play. Also decided to go for where is it? There we go. Swarm host. I do scan just to check what my opponent has. Do see that he does have swarm host in play. Also check for upgrades, as my Marines are now 1-2 upgraded. I do throw in a Marauder into that mix, as well as 1 lonely medevac, and I'm not really doing too great on my production of medevacs right here. Finally coming out with another medevac, as you can see right here. I do start to engage my opponent, and he is coming out with this changeling. I don't notice it right away, and he does come out with a second changeling right here, and I do notice this one coming into my base. Where is it? There it is, this one. I swing back to my third just to check if he's going for some mutalisk harass. In the meantime, my opponent is coming out with his 4th base, and he actually could have come out with at least 1, well, let's just say 2 hatches, macro hatches, as my opponent's changeling is hanging out right here. He's jockeying for an attack, as he does now have banelings in play, as my army is right here. Stim my army, decide to just go for it, and he does catch a lot of my army with his infestor over there, as I just decide to just walk in and just start wailing away, and I figured that this would probably win the game for me, so I just decided to go for it. I'm already 2-3 in upgrades. He's still 0-0 upgraded with Mutalisk, and the rest of his army composition is still basically 1-0, 1-1 upgraded, and just basically walk into his base and kill everything. Just a matter of time before he GG's, and decided not to build anything because I figured that after killing that I would probably win the game. Just decided to kill off some more swarm hosts and whatnot, and decided to just walk into his base and just kill everything because he doesn't have anything left. I left his base alone right here, as he does call the GG. Now, let's actually pause. Well, it's already paused. Let's actually just stop the game right here and take a look at my upgrades. 2-3 upgraded Marines, and let me see if my opponent has anything. Unit counting station. Take a look at the Lings. You can see it is only 1-0 upgraded. Now, my opponent actually, as we're going to quit this replay, and I will show you something really interesting. Now, my opponent had me out macroed most of the game, and then all of a sudden, splat, there goes his army. Now, the reason for this is that my upgrades were simply superior. I was already 2-3 upgraded, waiting to go 3-3, and he was still 1-0 upgraded. And, you know, to me, just poor decision making, or just simply forgetting to go for upgrades, that really kills your game. And he had me, like I said, he had me out macroed. I wasn't moving out with medevac drops, I wasn't moving out with my army, and simply put, he lost the game purely because he did not have better upgrades than me. So go figure, right? From one bad player to another, I mean, he could have gone for upgrades and could have crushed my army. Probably could have come out with a lot more banelings and some more macro hatches early. As we take a look right here, performance-wise, I of course had a lot more resources unspent because I'm just not good at my macro. Supply cap, really bad. At least I created more workers than I normally do, and my opponent, whoa, 119 workers. So that's probably the other half of why he lost. His army just simply wasn't there. It was just basically in drones. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching. This is StarCraft Monday, and I hope to actually come out with some more videos like this in the future. I do have something planned for Tuesday, so stick around for that. As always, thanks very much for watching. I am Akukami, signing out.